Hello, my name is Lucas, this is Bit of Lit, and I'm here to talk about a brilliant science fiction collection of short stories, which is Ted Chiang's Stories of Your Life and Others, which Story of Your Life is the basis for the movie Arrival, directed by Denis Villeneuve, and is now a major motion picture. Yeah, here's the movie poster. Great movie, I think. Not my favorite cover. I don't really like movie covers, but alas, I really enjoyed the movie, so I thought I would check this out and see what's going on in these stories. And they are brilliant. I love all of them. Ted Chiang is an incredible writer. I just cannot believe anybody could imagine these kinds of stories or come up with them. One cool thing about this, first of all, it mentions that he's got another collection, which I will be getting one day, Exhalation, and yeah, it gives a publication history in the back for each of these stories, an acknowledgement to all the people he's thankful to, and then he's got story notes to explain where the idea for the story came from and how they developed. And I'd like to sort of do a brief rundown of each story in here. I won't spoil too much, just try to give you the idea of what each story is about. Hopefully you will find all of them of interest, or some of them, but I do hope that you will check it out, because I love this book. Tower of Babylon reimagines the construction of Babylon by taking the perspective of a miner who's reaching the top of the Tower of Babylon to dig through something that they found and have built up to, and reimagines the tower as a living, breathing place where it's essentially one really long city. It has people, it has all the comforts of home in some respect, and lots of people discussing, what the history of this tower is, and what God thinks of it and all that. It's not a particularly religious story, although it is based on a religious story and has religious characters that believe in God, but it's much, much more than that, and it's really well done, because what he finds when he mines through that thing, I won't say more. Understand, maybe, I still enjoy it, but maybe the weakest story. It's about a guy who's part of an experiment that develops your mind. His sensory experience is sharpened. He's a master of his mind, basically. He's far more intelligent, can process information better, more efficiently, and all that. But there's another, and they have differing ideas on how to use this power. And then they come into conflict, and it's good fun. But yeah, it's a great story, but relative to many of the others, it's maybe the weakest, but I think it's good fun. Division by Zero, one of my favorites in here, about a mathematician who's a little bit past 30. She's worried that maybe her best work is behind her, because mathematicians make most of their best research and developments before the age of 30. And the thing she's been working on and proves is that 1 equals 2. Which sounds strange, but she's been able to prove it, and she tries to tell others. And not only does she try to tell others, but she has a psychological breakdown because she's dedicated her life to mathematics and number theory and all that stuff. But she has found a way to prove, without any tricks, without any manipulation of the numbers or dividing by zero or anything like that, nothing illegal in the proof. She has proven that 1 equals 2. And if 1 equals 2, then 4 can equal 100, 1,000 can equal 3, X can equal Y, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't really matter what number you compare to what. Any number can be proven to be equal to another number. And if that's the case, then the whole foundation of mathematics, arithmetic, numbers, is illogical. And if you see that the thing you've dedicated your life to is illogical and doesn't make sense and doesn't fit with reality, then you would probably, and she has a psychological breakdown. This story is not told from her perspective. It's told from a friend of hers who doesn't believe her, which is the perfect touch to what I just said, to the concept of the story, and it's really well done. Story of your life. Aliens come, as you might know if you've seen Arrival. Aliens come, and a team of linguists, particularly one character, one linguist, who Amy Adams plays in the movie, learns the written language of these aliens. They're not sure what they want. They're not sure why they came here. They're not sure why they leave. But this changes her perspective on everything, including time. I will say no more. 72 letters, maybe another weak one because it gets really technical. It's a golem story, and it's all about naming the golems and this kind of thing, and giving them life, and what to do with that power, and how to use the golems effectively, and what do we mean by effectively for who, and yeah, it's a great story, but there's a change and a twist right at the end where it gets really technical, and yeah, it talks about the future of these golems, so to speak, and yeah, it was a little hard to follow, and I'm still a little confused, but I enjoyed it for what I did understand, which was about 80% of the story, and then it took a wild turn and got like, well, here's with the names and these things, when you change that, they're going to have some parameters, and blah. It was a little hard to follow, but great story. All of them are very kind of technical stories, but well worth your time to read. Very simple to follow. That one, yeah, it just kind of got a little clunky at the end, I think. The Evolution of Human Science, like 2 or 3 pages, maybe 4 at the most. Asking the question, what do humans do when these essentially superhumans, which no human can adapt into or evolve into through any kind of process currently, that human science created, by the way. What do human scientists do that don't, at birth, in the sort of neonatal stage, I believe, if their parents don't choose to have that adaptation because they're worried that they'll be outpaced by their child and not be able to understand them at all. Those superhumans, I forgot the word for it. It's been a while since I read it, but those highly advanced minded superhuman people, their science is far beyond what a human scientist is capable of at the time of the story. Although human science did create them. But what is the need for a human scientist if we were in that position? Great story, but it ends in a hopeful way. So that's what makes it really great, is how hopeful it is at the end. I really enjoyed that. My favorite story in the collection is Hell is the Absence of God. Oh my God. In this story, God is real. There is no question of that. There's no need for faith, because it is a verifiable fact that God exists. And it's known that God exists because the light of heaven comes down with visitations. And the visitations are when visitors, angels, fall from heaven and then disappear from the earth as well. When they appear on earth and when they disappear. However, when angels appear, it's not a moment for joy. It is a natural disaster. Angels come when when angels come, there are tsunamis, there are earthquakes, there are, firestorms or whatever. There's hurricanes, there's typhoons, there's tornadoes, any kind of natural disaster you can think of. However, just because the visitations are kind of scary, doesn't mean people don't try to come by, because certain people, if they're lucky, through the light of heaven, will be cured of some ailment they have, or given some kind of miracle that will change their life forever. It doesn't necessarily have to be some amazing thing, but it could be maybe they were born ill in some way, and perhaps they will be cured of that. Or it will give them a new perspective on life, and they will maybe not be sure what that is, but they will think and be more alert and aware of the possibilities in their life and what they need to look forward to in the future. But as a result, because there are natural disasters, many die from the visitations or just trying to be close. Now, because God exists, there is no need for faith as it is. It's more of a matter of if you are a devout follower of God. And there's a spectrum. You could be someone who is devout and has always loved God. You could be devout and have questions about God because of how people get hurt from the visitations. You could not be devout because of the visitations, but you want to see God's love and that kind of thing, but you haven't been able to make the final hurdle. Or you could not be devout and not have any interest. And we've got three characters that fit and move around within those within those parameters and on that spectrum. And it is an incredible story. I cannot do it justice. And then there is Liking What You See, a documentary. This is, I forgot what the thing is called. This is a brilliant story as well about I believe a college campus initiative for these, everyone has specs, SPEX, and there's an initiative that there's like a vote on it or something about whether or not to add these, to how to handle the societal problem of lookism, because people who are beautiful have more advantages. And this initiative is to bring on I forgot what it's called, something Kaliagnosia or something like that. Kaliagnosia, that's right, Kaliagnosia, which will change your perspective on people's features. I believe the better a person you are, the nicer people's features will look. And the worse a person you are, I guess the worse you look, or the more plain you look. But it's a way to deal with the beauty standards and that kind of thing, but there's all different kinds of perspectives. Some people are for it, some people are against it, they have all their reasons. Some people reject everything entirely and they cut off their nose so that they will look grotesque and they'll get even more attention than someone who's beautiful. I respect that. There's campaigns by corporations to manipulate the masses to try to make the Kaliagnosias look bad, particularly from cosmetic corporations. Who even go so far as to develop new technology to make sure that they get what they want. It is phenomenal. All the different nuances, because it has a kind of timeline, so you see a few characters again and again, but you see some just once or twice. if that. And the way they think, the way things change as each new event happens, when it's found out that one article that came out was promoted and funded through a shell organization created by a cosmetic agency, a corporation, that really changes the dynamic on everything and people's perspectives. And I think he just like nails it in that story and in every story. All of them are brilliant. Maybe the weakest one is Understand, and then 72 Letters. But otherwise, all of them are great. You will enjoy it. Have you read this before? What did you think of it? What did you think of? Which one was your favorite story? Which stories did not work for you? Have you read Exhalation? What do you think of that one? Is it worth reading? Is it as good as this? Let me know. I would love to know what you have to say. Thank you, and goodbye.